The night was thick with fog as Leonardo set out on a desolate road, his tires humming a lonely tune on the asphalt. He had chosen this route to escape the monotony of the highway, seeking the solace of quiet backroads to clear his mind. The dim glow of his headlights cut through the mist, revealing a path shrouded in mystery. As Leonardo navigated the twists and turns, the isolation weighed on him. The occasional hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves in the wind heightened his unease. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Glancing nervously in his rearview mirror, he saw only the opaque fog, concealing whatever secrets lurked behind. His anxiety peaked when a flickering light appeared in the distance. As he approached, he discerned the outline of an old gas station, its dilapidated sign creaking in the wind. Relieved at the prospect of human presence, Leonardo pulled in, the gravel crunching beneath his tires. The gas station seemed frozen in time. A single flickering bulb cast long shadows on the cracked pavement. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, broken only by the distant howls of an unseen creature. Leonardo hesitated, debating whether to continue or return to the comfort of the highway. As he filled his tank, a raspy voice emerged from the shadows. "You shouldn't be here, stranger." Startled, Leonardo turned to see an elderly attendant, his eyes bearing the weight of years of solitude. "This road ain't kind to those who linger." Leonardo chuckled nervously, dismissing the warning as local superstition. Little did he know, his decision to press on would unravel a series of events that would challenge his sanity and test the limits of his courage. The gas station attendant's warning echoed in Leonardo's mind as he resumed his journey, the fog now denser than ever. The winding road seemed to coil around him, the headlights revealing only fleeting glimpses of the surrounding woods. His unease grew, fueled by the unsettling silence broken only by the occasional crackle of the radio. In the rearview mirror, Leonardo caught sight of a dim, distant figure. A chill crawled up his spine as he recognized the silhouette of a hitchhiker. He couldn't comprehend how someone could be out here in the middle of nowhere, especially on a night like this. Against his better judgment, Leonardo pulled over. The hitchhiker approached, face obscured by the hood of a tattered jacket. The door creaked open, and the stranger settled into the passenger seat without uttering a word. An awkward silence hung in the air, broken only by the rhythmic patter of rain on the roof. As they drove, Leonardo attempted to engage in conversation, but the hitchhiker remained silent, staring straight ahead. The tension in the car intensified with each passing mile, and Leonardo's imagination began to play tricks on him. Shadows danced in the periphery, and he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Suddenly, the hitchhiker spoke, his voice a low whisper that sent shivers down Leonardo's spine. "You shouldn't have stopped, Leonardo. This road belongs to those who never left." Panic gripped Leonardo as he realized the gravity of the situation. The hitchhiker was no ordinary traveler. He was a specter of the road, a passenger from the past. The car's interior grew colder, and the windows fogged with an otherworldly presence. Leonardo's heart raced as he realized he was not alone on this journey. The road held secrets that transcended time. Desperation set in as he grappled with the realization that he had unwittingly invited an unseen passenger into his world. Leonardo's grip tightened on the steering wheel as the car continued down the haunting road, the hitchhiker's words echoing in the confined space. The atmosphere inside the vehicle thickened, suffused with an otherworldly energy that seemed to twist reality itself. The hitchhiker's presence became more palpable with each passing moment. Shadows danced in the corners of Leonardo's vision, and the air seemed charged with an eerie electricity. Desperation and fear coiled within him as he grappled with the impossible truth. He was sharing his car with a spectral passenger. In an attempt to break the silence, Leonardo spoke with a trembling voice. "Who are you? What do you want?" The hitchhiker remained silent, his gaze fixed on the road ahead. The windshield wipers fought against the torrential rain, creating an ominous rhythm that underscored the surreal encounter. As the miles passed, the road transformed into a distorted tapestry of memories and phantoms. Leonardo's surroundings blurred, merging the present with the past. He glimpsed flickering images of long-forgotten faces and heard echoes of laughter that seemed to resonate from another era. A spectral fog enveloped the car, distorting reality further. Leonardo's rational mind battled against the encroaching madness, but the hitchhiker's silent presence seemed to pierce through the fabric of his sanity. It became evident that the road itself was a conduit for the unresolved echoes of those who had traversed it before. Suddenly, the hitchhiker spoke again, his voice carrying the weight of 1,000 whispered secrets. "This road hungers for stories, Leonardo. It feeds on the echoes of the past, binding travelers to a destiny woven into the very fabric of the asphalt." Leonardo's knuckles turned white as he clutched the steering wheel, the gravity of the situation sinking in. The road demanded a toll, and he was entangled in a spectral journey with no clear destination. The car hurtled forward, the headlights cutting through the thick fog, revealing glimpses of phantasmal figures standing at the roadside. Dread settled in Leonardo's chest as he realized that the road was a tapestry of tragedies, each mile haunted by the specters of those who had met their fate on this forsaken path. The hitchhiker, a guide between realms, was leading Leonardo through a nightmarish tapestry of memories and regrets, each turn revealing a new layer of the road's insatiable hunger for the stories of the departed. As the road wound on, Leonardo's mind teetered on the edge of sanity. The hitchhiker's presence seemed to grow stronger, merging with the haunting echoes of the past. The car's headlights pierced through the dense fog, revealing glimpses of tragedies etched into the very asphalt beneath the tires. Leonardo's surroundings became a kaleidoscope of memories, each mile unfolding a new chapter of the road's insidious narrative. Ghostly apparitions wandered at the roadside, trapped in an eternal loop of despair. Faces from another time stared into the void, their silent pleas for release reverberating through the night. Desperation clawed at Leonardo's soul as he grappled with the realization that the road was not merely a passage between 2 points. It was a malevolent force, a sentient entity that fed on the sorrow of those who dared to traverse its haunted stretches. The hitchhiker, now a harbinger of the road's tormented tales, spoke again. "Each soul that treads this path becomes a thread woven into the fabric of the road. Your fate is intertwined with theirs, Leonardo, and escape is an illusion." Leonardo's breath caught in his throat. The weight of the road's history pressed down on him, and he felt the threads of his own life entwining with the countless others that had come before. The car hurtled forward, an unwilling participant in a cosmic tapestry of suffering. The road twisted and turned, revealing a final revelation. A spectral figure materialized at the edge of the headlights, a woman, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. It was then that Leonardo recognized her as the gas station attendant from earlier, the one who had warned him with eyes burdened by the weight of forsaken souls. The hitchhiker's voice resonated with finality. She too sought refuge on this road, and now her spirit guards the entrance. Your choices echo through time, and the road awaits its toll. In a surreal moment of clarity, Leonardo understood. He was bound to the road, a thread in its intricate design, and he could not escape the destiny that awaited him. The car plunged into an ethereal realm, the boundary between the living and the spectral blurred. As the road stretched endlessly before him, Leonardo accepted his fate. The hitchhiker's form dissolved into the mist, leaving him alone with the echoes of the past. The car became a vessel of memories, hurtling through the haunted corridors of time. The road claimed its toll, and Leonardo joined the ranks of the forsaken, his existence woven into the very fabric of the haunted highway. The fog thickened, swallowing the car and its passenger, leaving behind only the echoes of a journey that transcended the boundaries of life and death. The rhythmic hum of the tires on the asphalt echoed through the desolate stretch of highway as Lindsay drove into the heart of nowhere. The night was pitch black, only broken by the feeble glow of her headlights cutting through the thick darkness. Her knuckles were tight on the steering wheel, and a sense of unease lingered in the air. Lindsay was on her way to visit a friend in a remote town, and the GPS insisted on guiding her through this desolate road. The miles seemed to stretch endlessly, surrounded by dense woods that whispered secrets in the wind. The only other sign of life was an occasional flicker of an old, dilapidated gas station or a forgotten motel. As Lindsay drove deeper into the night, an odd sensation crept up her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, her imagination playing tricks on her as shadows danced at the edge of her peripheral vision. She dismissed it as fatigue, blaming the long drive and lack of sleep. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. Lindsay slammed on the brakes, heart pounding as the headlights revealed a disheveled man standing in the middle of the road. He wore torn clothing, his eyes reflecting the glow of her headlights. Panic set in as Lindsay cautiously rolled down her window. "Please, you have to help me. My car broke down, and I've been waiting for hours," he pleaded, his voice shaky. Lindsay hesitated, a conflict between compassion and caution waging within her. She agreed to give him a lift to the nearest town, a decision that would unravel a series of events she could never have anticipated. As the mysterious stranger settled into the passenger seat, Lindsay's unease grew. She couldn't shake the feeling that the desolate road held secrets, and her decision to help this stranger might lead to consequences beyond her control. The stranger, who introduced himself as Mark, sat quietly in the passenger seat, occasionally glancing out into the darkness. Lindsay stole glances at him, trying to read the subtle nuances in his expression. The air inside the car felt heavy with tension as they drove through the desolate night. Mark directed Lindsay down a narrow side road, claiming it was a shortcut to the nearest town. The woods on either side of the road seemed to close in, creating an oppressive atmosphere. Lindsay's unease deepened, a knot tightening in her stomach. As they rounded a bend, the headlights illuminated a chilling sight. A group of people, clad in tattered clothing, stood in the middle of the road. Lindsay slammed on the brakes, heart racing as Mark muttered something under his breath. The group approached, their eyes vacant, expressions devoid of emotion. Fear gripped Lindsay as she realized these were not ordinary travelers. Mark's earlier distress seemed like an act, a ploy to lure her into this eerie trap. Panic set in as she fumbled to reverse, but the strangers surrounded the car, trapping her in a nightmarish tableau. A raspy voice echoed from the shadows, and Lindsay's blood ran cold. "You shouldn't have come here. This road is cursed, and now you're a part of it." Desperation fueled Lindsay's actions as she steered the car off the road, crashing through the underbrush. The strangers dispersed, disappearing into the darkness. As Lindsay's car came to a shuddering stop, she realized the gravity of her situation. Alone in the woods, surrounded by an otherworldly presence, Lindsay faced a choice: stay and unravel the mysteries of the cursed road, or flee into the unknown, with the haunting whispers of the desolate highway still echoing in her ears. Lindsay's breaths were rapid, her eyes darting around the oppressive darkness that enveloped the crashed car. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the distant echoes of the stranger's haunting whispers. Mark remained silent, his true intentions veiled in mystery. With trembling hands, Lindsay reached for her phone, praying for a signal. To her dismay, the screen displayed a mocking no-service message. The weight of isolation pressed down on her, amplifying the eerie sounds of the surrounding woods. As Lindsay stepped out of the car, she noticed an old, weathered trail leading into the depths of the forest. The whispers seemed to beckon her, and against her better judgment, she followed the trail into the unknown. Each step felt like an eternity, the twisted branches above casting long, foreboding shadows. The trail led Lindsay to an abandoned village, hidden in the heart of the woods. Dilapidated houses stood as silent witnesses to a forgotten time. Lindsay's heart pounded as she explored the deserted streets, guided by an unseen force that pulled her deeper into the haunting enclave. In the center of the village, she discovered an ancient graveyard. The tombstones bore dates long faded, and an overwhelming sadness hung in the air. The strangers, she realized, were not of the living but trapped spirits, unable to escape the curse that bound them to the desolate highway. Mark emerged from the shadows, revealing the truth about the cursed road. Centuries ago, the village had fallen victim to a dark ritual, binding the souls of its inhabitants to the road, forever doomed to seek salvation. Mark, too, was a lost soul, drawn to lure unsuspecting travelers into the cycle of despair. Haunted by the revelation, Lindsay felt an inexplicable connection to the tormented spirits. The choice to leave or stay became more complex as the boundary between the living and the dead blurred in the ghostly moonlight. In a desperate attempt to break the curse, Lindsay and Mark embarked on a journey through the haunted history of the village. As they unraveled the secrets, they faced vengeful spirits and unearthed the tragic tale that bound the lost souls to the desolate highway. The climax unfolded at the cursed crossroads, where Lindsay and Mark confronted the source of the malevolent power. In a harrowing confrontation with the supernatural, they fought to break the chains that shackled the tormented spirits. As the first light of dawn broke on the horizon, the curse lifted. The whispers faded, and the village, once trapped in perpetual darkness, saw the first rays of sunlight in centuries. Lindsay and Mark, now free from the haunting embrace of the desolate highway, stood on the precipice of a new beginning. In the end, Lindsay chose to leave the cursed village behind, her journey forever marked by the spectral echoes of that fateful night. The desolate highway, once a passage to the unknown, faded into the rearview mirror as she drove away, carrying with her the weight of an otherworldly encounter that would linger in her memories for the rest of her days.